Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, I am going to be doing a collective reading. So I'm going to start by shuffling the Energy Oracle cards deck. And if you would like to tune your energy into this reading, you can do so by liking the video and also by checking to make sure you are subscribed to the channel. By liking and subscribing, these are forms of energy transfer, and they allow me to more easily pick up on your energy and channel more specifically for you and your situation. So right away, for someone in the collective here, which of course I do channel many different people and connections, so always only take what resonates with you personally. But here we have the Broken Heart card in the upright position. And specifically when I flipped over this card, I heard the word torn. So someone I'm addressing in this reading is feeling really torn in two directions. I saw some type of an L name, specifically the letter initials L, U, and C, but do keep in mind that whenever I channel specific names, dates, details, letters, etc., these are typically meant for very specific individuals, so please only take them if they do connect with you personally. So I want to know why someone here is feeling torn, or what are they feeling torn between? Okay, so first we have Door to Spirit in the reverse position, and the energy I'm getting is that there is a force that is really pulling you to the next level, spiritually speaking. And as you are spiritually ascending to this higher level of consciousness, this higher plane of existence, so to speak, it feels like it is calling for certain physical changes in your life, your reality, your world, maybe some of your habits, routines, relationships. And it feels like these changes are being divinely inspired because they are essentially helping you in ascending to this next level in your life. And yet, whoever I'm speaking to here, the reason that the person coming through this reading is feeling torn is with Victory reversed and Door to Romance in the reverse position. There is some type of love situation, because we do have Door to Romance reversed, for someone specifically here that has left you feeling really defeated. The word cycles is coming out here. So this may be a situation where you have found yourself cycling through either the same mental or emotional patterns around this person or relationship within yourself. For some reason, I'm seeing something about the month of December, also the sign of Sagittarius. So December could be a significant month for your relationship or for someone here. Also, someone could have Sagittarius energy in their birth chart. But I'm getting that it almost feels as though you're being called to close some type of door or to close out some chapter. Now, this might be entirely closing out a particular relationship altogether. But for others of you, this may actually be closing a previous chapter with a particular person, within a particular relationship in order to create space for the next chapter. And if that is the case, by the way, if you are closing a chapter with this person and opening into a new chapter, for some reason I'm getting a location name with an A, like a city name or a country name that starts with an A, or even a state name if you live in the United States. But I feel that someone here needs to know that if you do choose to move forward with a particular person that you've experienced a lot of hopelessness with in the past, that you've experienced a lot of heartbreak with in the past, you need to know that if you do move forward with this person, what is coming will look entirely different to what has been. And I feel, in a sense, you are at a crossroads here, whoever I'm speaking to. I truly feel as though at this divine level, you're being given this sort of cosmic crossroads in order to make a choice. These choices feel equivalent in vibration, meaning you are being presented with two very beautiful, high vibrational choices and options here in your life. I'm hearing there's no wrong answer. It's about your personal preferences. It's about what you desire to consciously create for your life. And for many of you listening, these two choices, this, as I'm calling it, cosmic crossroads you are at. I'm seeing the month of February. So if you're at this crossroads right now, the month of February could be a moment in time where this split really occurs in earnest, where you are really heading down one of these particular pathways in the crossroads. But anyway, I feel as though if this does have to do with a love situation with a certain person, it seems like you have a choice as to whether you are going to close the chapter of this entire connection with this person and move forward into something different, something entirely new, more individually, or possibly with a different person or within a different romantic relationship. Alternatively, your second option at this cosmic crossroads seems to be to continue in connection with this person. I say connection because this may or may not be what we define in 3D as a relationship, but it does feel as though you and this person have some kind of very deep cosmic connection, a very deep spiritual bond beneath whatever 3D relationship you might have. But anyway, you can choose to continue moving forward in this connection, but again, even if you choose to remain connected to this person in 3D in some way, this next chapter between the two of you will, of necessity, look entirely different because your energy is entirely different. I'm hearing you are wearing a completely different energy from prior to this point, from the time previously when you were connecting with this person in 3D. So I want to read a little more deeply into this dynamic, and really for whoever I'm speaking to here, let's take a look at these two options in your crossroads, so to speak, because that's really where I'm feeling guided in this reading. I know this is a bit of a strange structure for a reading. I don't typically read in this manner, kind of exploring two different paths or options or possibilities, but that's kind of just what is coming through in these messages. So I know this reading will not be for everyone. If this does connect with you in some way, I would love to hear from you in the comments under the video. But let's go ahead and tune more deeply into your energy field and see what else comes through about this first choice in the crossroads. So if you were to choose to entirely close the chapter on this relationship, on this person, and move forward. Okay, so we have door to spirit in the reverse position and yin yang in the upright position. Now, the yin yang card is one of my top 2 twin flame cards in the deck. I saw the numbers 11 and 7. That might be significant to someone's connection. So because this card is coming out, I do see that it's very possible this person you are connecting with, that you have this really deep spiritual bond with, could potentially be a twin flame. And in fact, that might be why it's sent you through many of these cycles that seem to be never ending, that seem to be really difficult to break free from. I saw a name with a B, potentially the name Betty or something along those lines. So with door to spirit reversed, I'm hearing spiritual grief. So I feel as though if you were to choose to close the chapter on your 3D relationship with this person, the first thing is you and this other soul would always remain spiritually connected because your spiritual bond far precedes your 3D relationship, whatever kind of 3D relationship you have built together. I'm also seeing that with this door to spirit card reversed and this idea of spiritual grief, I feel that if you do choose to move on, to let go of this 3D person, this 3D relationship with them, in spite of that deep spiritual bond, which again could potentially be a twin flame, that initially this will cause you a really jarring sense of spiritual grief. And in fact, this may be some of what many of you who have tried to release this person have felt in the past. But of course, feeling this spiritual grief doesn't make this path a wrong option. And as I said, you really are being given choices here. There is no wrong path in this situation. It's all about tuning into your intuition, listening to how your intuition at all levels and layers is responding to the idea of both of these options in this crossroads point. So I see that with the patience card. I accept that everything happens in divine order. If you do choose to release the 3D version of this person and situation, it does feel as though, and I know that for some this might be frustrating to hear. I don't know if this will be frustrating or comforting to hear, but for some listening, the thing about this connection is it's so deep that it's always going to be there at some level or to some degree. Now, this isn't to say you couldn't happily move on from this person, because it truly seems energetically that there could be a lot of fulfillment and potential for true happiness, even if you were to release this 3D connection. And we will channel more into that. But it does feel as though with the patience card, like you and this person at a soul level are really in this together for the long haul. And I have to tell you, a very strong message coming through as well is that with the acceptance card reversed, this person's soul, even if in 3D they have been labeled the runner in the past, especially if this is a twin flame connection, we use those terms runner, chaser. If this person has ever been evasive with expressing their emotions or anything along those lines, I see that it might surprise you to know, but this person's soul at a really deep level will actually have a lot of difficulty accepting the two of you completely moving on from one another, because even if they've been resistant to your connection in 3D at the surface physical level, at a deep soul level, they've always recognized it. And they've always felt it. And so just as your soul may be grieving as you let this person go in a physical sense. And of course, right as I said that, guys, I can't make this stuff up. The grief card came out from the emotions deck. I told you that there's a lot of spiritual grief in the choice to release this person, if that is what you choose. And yet this grief card has a mantra on it, and the mantra says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So I have to tell you, what's coming through very strongly is that if you choose to release this person in 3D, they are going to continue going through this awakening that I feel you've sparked in them. They're going to be pushed to really into this sense of spiritual grief at your loss, at your absence, because again, at a deeper level, they've always recognized this soul bond that you share. And ultimately, through this grief, they are going to realize your true value and worth and the value of the bond that you share. And the more time that passes, the more they're going to realize the rarity of the bond that you shared together. With the patience card, I feel that deep in this person's soul, a part of them would always be hoping that one day the two of you would come back together. I feel in this entire lifetime, they might never let go of that hope, even if they were to move on like you would move on if you chose this option, even if they were to open their heart to others at some level. I feel that they would always keep those deeper parts of their soul reserved for you in some sense, and deep down in those secret places within themselves, they would always be hoping that this would work out at some point in the future. And I do have to say that because of the way that this spiritual grief would push this person through the depths of this awakening and into these profound realizations, I see this person potentially coming back probably multiple times over the course of time with offers, opening doors of communication with you, trying to kind of find an in with you to make things potentially work again. And so I guess the point that your spirit guides are trying to bring through for whoever I'm speaking to here is that if you did choose to let go of the 3D version of this person, this doesn't mean that the two of you are closing that door necessarily forever. You would seem to have options or the opportunity to reconnect with this person later on, potentially when they have done more of their awakening and introspection work. And for some of you, that might be an optimistic prospect. That might be something you desire to let them go for now, but possibly reconnect once they've done that healing work. For others of you, if that feels like a heavy thing, then listen to your intuition and release that. Yes, this person, of course, will realize how amazing you are and how valuable you are and how much you were worth all along. But of course, you have conscious control over your life reality, and that doesn't mean that you would have to accept this person's 3D presence or this relationship back into your life. But I do see that for many of you, when this person does have this massive awakening and change of heart, even if you were to temporarily release them in the physical 3D world with the garden and the gate in the reverse position, you might find eventually that something flips within you. And as your soul truly recognizes at a deep intuitive level that this person is healing and changing, has really done the inner work, you might potentially potentially decide to allow this person back into that beautiful metaphoric garden of your energy and your life. But of course, those choices at that point in time would be up to you. And for now, choosing this route or option seems to entail letting go of absolutely all expectations, timelines, attachments to outcomes with this person in 3D, really, in a sense, freeing yourself from the mental jail, from these very heavy cycles that you may have felt trapped with this person for a very long time now. So I'm going to go ahead and reshuffle the cards, but while I am doing that, I do want to let you know that in the extended version of the reading on Patreon, we will be channeling more deeply into what changes would potentially be taking place within this divine masculine, choosing this first route or option, so to speak, if you were to release him or this connection in the physical 3D world. I just realized that I said divine masculine. I would say that was a slip up, but I really feel that was more like an accidental channeling, because this whole time, even though I keep forgetting to say it, I've really been feeling from you listening to this reading a lot of strong divine feminine energy. So I'll probably indicate that in the title so you can more easily locate this video on YouTube. So most of you listening will most likely resonate as the divine feminine, and the person you are connecting with here that could possibly be a twin flame as well is most likely a divine masculine. Now, of course, we all do have a balance of these energies within us, and they aren't tied to any particular gender. So take those labels and messages as they connect with you. But in the extended version of the reading, we will be channeling more deeply into this awakening I see taking place within this masculine. Now, my guides do want me to say this awakening and this healing, although we haven't gotten into this second potential option here, the option to remain connected with this person, I intuitively feel already that this awakening that we're going to be channeling more into in the extended reading, this healing, this introspection happening within the masculine here, I feel would be continuing to happen regardless of which of these so-called routes or options you choose to take moving into the future. It really feels like his awakening is inevitable, because it's something that your meeting has already sparked within him. Now, from your physical 3D perspective, it may really feel as though things are moving very slowly as well. I do have to mention that. But again, that will be channeled more in the extended reading on Patreon, which is linked in the pinned comment and description box under this video. So let's go more deeply into this secondary option. So what could the collective expect if they were to take this second option and choose to continue connecting with this divine masculine in 3D, to potentially remain in some form of 3D relationship with this person? Okay, so we have rest and rejuvenation in the reverse position. So I want to say that something about this connection has been in the past causing some anxiety. Potentially, I'm hearing the word disruption. It feels like it's making waves in some way, either emotionally within yourself, that it's been emotionally disruptive, potentially because when the two of you are connected to each other, I'm getting that word trigger. It seems like you do trigger each other to no end. Now, of course, if this is a twin flame connection, that is very common for twin flames. We call this mirroring and triggering because twin flames do share the same core soul energetic frequency. And while this sounds like a beautiful thing, it can actually be a really triggering thing, because when we are subconsciously programmed into a society that has a lot of wounded, limiting, restricting belief systems that actually artificially block our core soul frequency, create these unconscious patterns and programs that prevent us from fully accepting our true self. And we tend to project out those parts of ourselves that we have subconsciously learned to reject. And when we meet our twin flame, because they mirror back to us our own self perfectly at the energetic level, all of those depths of self-rejection are brought to the surface in a very stark, in our face, conscious way. And this is simultaneously the most healing and really fast-tracked, evolving experience imaginable, but at the same time, it's extremely painful. Mostly everyone on the planet is so deeply programmed that seeing our true selves reflected so radically and feeling this constant mirroring of our own patterns so we can clearly see them and heal them is incredibly intense. So I see that this intensity may have become a bit much for the both of you, but especially for you listening to this reading. It feels that recently it just became very overwhelming. It became very heavy. You may have had certain 3D responsibilities or connections or things in your life that you just really felt you needed to tend to, potentially even just your own physical body, your own mental state. It feels like you had to take a break mentally or emotionally or physically from this person for a while because you needed to really just rest, rejuvenate yourself, take a rest from all of this intensity that is constantly brought up between the two of you. And so with this rest and rejuvenation card coming out here again, reversed, it tells me if you are to re-engage with this person at this time in 3D and continue connecting in 3D, you will again feel a lot of triggering at times. You're going to feel a lot of emotional disruption at times. But I also see that ironically, there is also a great deal of shared spiritual power and potential between the two of you. It also feels as though you and this person have a very power couple kind of energy. It seems like when you join your energies, especially in the physical 3D world, you manifest extremely quickly. You really begin to feel fast-tracked in many types of ways. But this is because you are really radically self-analyzing, and through that self-analysis, fast-tracking your spiritual and emotional evolution. But again, this does not come easy. This feels like a fast route to continuous spiritual growth and evolution, but it also feels extremely bumpy. If this were a road, it feels like a very bumpy road, a road that is not well paved or well trodden, because it's also a route that really goes against the grain and potentially goes against what others around you may be telling you that you should do or giving you advice about which direction to take. It feels as though this may be contradictory to that. With victory in the reverse position, I also see that at times something about this path leaves you feeling really defeated, leaves you feeling in a really dark place sometimes. Strategy in the upright position. This is such a complex energy. It's like when you're with this person physically, it's almost as though simultaneously you feel extreme emotional and energetic intensity, but you also feel as though at certain times it's so aligned for you in a way that's really hard to explain. You might feel even this kind of glow when you're around this person that you don't seem to feel with other people, romantically speaking, or in other kinds of situations. Now, I do see that something that would come up with a lot of intensity on this path, with woman holding a coin and the root chakra upright. It feels as though in the past, this masculine has engaged in some form of karmic pattern or dynamic. This could be a third-party situation. This could be an addiction or an emotional pattern or a behavior pattern, anything that kept him blocked from his true, most authentic self, and therefore created an artificial sense of disconnect between the two of you in the 3D world. It feels like these old patterns and dynamics would need to be fully addressed and healed through. And once again, staying connected to this person through the healing process, although it does have this very fast moving, powerful kind of intensity to it, it also feels as though it brings up a lot of really, really deep emotions within both of you. It feels like it may be a bumpy road in some respects. I just feel a lot of raw emotions coming out. It feels like when you're with this person, there are a lot of high emotions on both sides. And it also feels like something that comes with a lot of highs and lows, emotionally speaking. So I'm going to pull another card here. Can I channel more information about these highs and lows? So first of all, we have the Angel of Love card in the upright position. So ultimately, these triggers that seem to come up along this path, if you were to choose this particular path, seem to, and I know my voice just cracked there a minute ago, I'm feeling some type of throat chakra energy coming through at this time. So some of you might be feeling a bit of movement in the throat chakra, feeling some activation in the throat chakra. But anyway, with this Angel of Love card representing unconditional love, I feel as though these triggers, this sensation of kind of being on a roller coaster, is ultimately softening the both of you to unconditional love and really aligning you on this kind of cosmic divine level here. It also feels like being 3D connected with this person does have the advantage of potentially awakening your spiritual gifts. It does seem like when you are 3D connected with this person, you might find that your intuition seems to be on point. You just feel like you're in this heightened spiritual state of being. And this is actually because being two souls with a very high level of energetic transfer naturally taking place between the two of you. Because again, if this person isn't a twin flame, which I feel it is for most of you, it is at the least a very high level soulmate. And so there's a lot of energetic transfer here. And that means when you are 3D connecting, that is only heightened to the nth degree. And of course, this comes with pros and cons. One of the cons being that this energetic transfer can become amplified in its intensity. The triggering can feel more intense. The energy is coming up so hard, and so it's building so much pressure against any walls we are holding within ourselves. And yet, on the positive side of this, having so much of a flood of energy flowing between ourselves and another person all the time can cause us to feel as though we're in a heightened energetic state more of the time. It can therefore open a lot of these spiritual gifts and abilities. It can cause us to be kind of forcibly facing these walls within ourselves with greater speed and intensity. But again, this path is very convoluted because it is challenging. It doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of highs and lows. And yet there is a nuance to this that came up at the beginning of this reading but hasn't yet come through. And this is regarding how My spirit guides were telling me at the beginning of this reading that if you were to choose to stay 3D connected with this person, your relationship would actually look entirely differently. Although it seems the same thing is happening between you energetically, I feel that on the surface, especially over time in the physical 3D world, you would be moving into this entirely new chapter. As long as you do have the confidence and the courage to allow it to be new. And what I mean by that is to fully honor and respect yourself when you are connecting with this person, to stay connected with your intuition. That is imperative, because my guides are really urging that if it's not possible to stay connected with self-love and self-respect and self-honoring while you are connecting with this person in 3D, then it would be much better to choose to release them, at least temporarily, in the physical 3D world. However, if you are capable of remaining connected to self-love, to self-respect, and you do desire to continue connecting with this person in 3D, it does seem like there is a lot of spiritual power and potential here as well. And of course, at the end of the day, only your intuition truly has the answers for you. That is really that inner GPS, so to speak, of the soul guiding you through your life. And in the extended version of the reading, we will be channeling more into this second option, just as we did with the first. Specifically, we will be speaking to how your connection in 3D with this person would be looking entirely new if you were to move forward together, how you would be turning this new page into this brand new chapter together, potentially. And of course, we will be channeling more details, pieces of information, whatever wants to come through that second reading on Patreon. So I'm going to head over there now. And if you would like to join me on Patreon, the link to that extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box under the video. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I invite you to subscribe to this channel if anything here did connect with you. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'm sending you so much love, and I will talk to you again in Wednesday's reading.